Hold on, y'all. All right. Okay, everyone, we are going to get started. Let's go to our class page. And sorry, I'm moving a little slow here. There we go. All right, so just a couple things that let me remind you of. We are starting to get towards the end. So there are a couple of things that we want to talk about. Make sure that you complete your class survey. Can you do that for me today? So there are two things. I need you to, if you're coming back in the spring, I need you to register. If you're having any problems with registration, like if you don't know who your advisor is, just put it in the chat right there. And I'm not an advisor, but I'm able to set up a time and a day for you and to set you up with student advising at AMSC, and they will get you some help. So if you still need help with registration for spring 2021, just put that in the chat today, and I'll get you some help. Second thing, for this class, I'm really sad. Nobody has completed the class survey just yet. I think our numbers were 0. So there is a class survey that does not come from me, and it comes from the school. And with everything going on, y'all, they want to make sure that we are doing our best, that you all are satisfied with what we as professors are doing or not doing, and they want to get your opinion about things, because we don't know where this thing is going to go next year, if we're going to be in the same situation or if it's going to be better and we can be in person. So they're on me, so I'm going to get on you guys, please. It doesn't take long, takes a couple of minutes just to fill out that survey about this class, and I'm sure you have other classes, so just fill that out once you get a chance. All right, next announcement. I know it's a lot of announcements, right? So next Thursday is Thanksgiving, and of course, we are not meeting next week. So we are going to be off next week. And we're going to talk about what we have this week, and then I'll talk about next week and your final story. So just give me a couple minutes just to talk, and then we're going to pause and open up for some questions. All right, so today we're going to talk about reporting, and that'll be our lesson today. Your assignment for this week is a quiz on your chapters 7 and 8. Oh man, I think I realized I didn't put it on there.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. I haven't been to class lately because I've been working. So,
Oh yes, you did send me a message.
so,
Yes, you did.
so I'm sorry about that.
No problem. You've been watching the videos.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Once again, also, Victor, make sure that you complete your class survey for
Hmm.
this class. And just a reminder, just in case you didn't hear me earlier, to please register for spring. And if you're having any trouble with your registration for the spring, just put it in the chat and just say, I need some help or something like that. And I'm going to jot your name down so that I can get um, one of the staff members from the advisement center to give
Hmm.
you a call and help you.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you.
you are welcome. All right. I just realized I got a boo-boo there. So anyway, let me go back to this week. And so you're gonna have a quiz this week. It's gonna be due on Sunday, so I need to upload that. So I got the shell, but I need to upload the document. Duh. And today we're gonna talk about reporting. So once I finish your class, I'll put that on there. Sorry about that. Once again, we do not meet next week. It is it is going to be Thanksgiving next week, but you do have a couple of things that you want to do. So you have a press conference assignment. You have your lesson for next week that comes from chapter 11 on planned events. And then here's the big thing that I want to talk to you about, your final news story. So give me 1 second and let me back up a little bit. So if you see right here, students, if you ever get confused, I try to, sometimes I slip, I try to put all the resources and directions and stuff up here at the top in syllabus and resources. So I'm gonna click on your final story. All right, so we have two stories that we did in this class. So you have your midterm story that you already completed and the final news story. And this final news story is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to focus on AMSC as much, but you're going to focus on a current local issue. You could, okay, yeah. So like I said, this story doesn't have to be based on a campus issue like we did before, but it should be a relevant story that concerns people. I know a lot of what's in the news now deals with COVID-19. You could pick that, but you don't have to. I know sometimes we get tired of it, but anyway, you can talk about something local, concerns your government, maybe schools, sanitation, maybe something's going on in downtown Atlanta. Check that out for us. But I do not tackle a national story. Okay, I need you guys to understand that. Do not tackle a national story. Stay local. You could talk about something going on in your local community. Maybe your community opened up a new school, they opened up a new community center or something. Maybe there's a park that was supposed to open up, but it can't open up now because of COVID, something like that. But once again, we're not tackling what's happening in another country. We're not tackling what's happening all across the United States. Stay local because that keeps it simpler for you. Some examples that students did before in my previous class about, well, they focused kind of on COVID-19 things, but they were talking about how parents were struggling with the homeschool and trying to work. You don't have to do that. Those are just examples. Alternative things to do. Well, that was in the summer. Maybe you talk about what we can do now in the fall and winter. How maybe celebrating Christmas. There are still things that we can do, even not getting around a whole bunch of people. Now, next week, you're going to pitch your story. So next week, your assignment is just in one paragraph to tell me what you're going to write about and why is this important and who are you going to interview. Once again, of course, for your interviews, you don't get in front of anybody. You got to practice social distancing. So you want to call someone, email, those type of things. A call is always much better than email, but I don't want you to go out in the community and put yourself in danger and hurt yourself potentially. Step 3, as you write the story, as you write your final story, make sure it has a lead sentence. And then we practice this, but you can always go back to chapter 8 and work on a hard lead or a soft lead. All right, so your final story should include about 2 to 3 interviews. Right in the passive tense, that's, what happened, you know. You can use the AP style guide. Please use your style guide. This stuff doesn't come naturally to us. So use the style guide to help you. Here's another thing that I noticed in the last last articles that we wrote. Don't put yourself in it as much. So I want you to imagine like you're a bird and you're watching something. You're looking down and you're watching what's happening down on Earth, right? So don't use the I. Don't. A lot of people were saying I this and I interviewed. You just tell what happened. So don't say I interviewed John Doe. You're gonna say John Doe said blah blah blah. You know. Make sure you do your research. So if you're talking about businesses in your community or in Atlanta that closed up, I don't want to see a lot of businesses closed up. Do your research. Maybe 50% of the businesses downtown closed up. I don't know, but you got to do your research. Don't include any information that hasn't been verified from some type of board, from a website, a magazine, a newspaper. So if you said, for example, if you say that schools are closed for all Georgia students, right? You got to clarify that. Well, we know that that's not true because kids are in the schools. Okay. Make sure, step 4, make sure that your final story is 500 words in length. Do your best. And this is going to be the last story that you're going to write in this course, and it's going to count. You don't do it, I guarantee you're probably going to fail the course. And I know I'm speaking to the choir to this group because you guys do your work, but we've got a strange group of folks in this class that just don't do stuff. And if you're having issues, internet issues, if there's any type of issue, just please let me know. Please communicate. But you can't wait till the last minute. It puts too much pressure on me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to stay, we want to stay on course. Okay. So let me pause. I know there was a lot of talking.
I can't.
Any questions about the final news story? What we got to do?
No, man. I think that's good for me.
Good for
Actually,
you?
Professor,
Yep.
so this is not like the other one. We can choose a topic of our liking or,
That's right.
okay,
Just make sure, look right here in point 1. So the key thing is pick a local issue. Now, it doesn't have to be a campus issue like you did before.
all right.
Once again, make it something local, something in your community, something in your town, in the Atlanta area. There is so much going on in this area in Atlanta, in Fulton County or wherever county you live, right? There's so much going on that we don't know about. Don't tackle anything that's national. We're not talking about what's going on in Arizona. We're not talking about what's going on in DC. Stay right here in your community.
So locally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't.
That makes it easier because, even for me to tackle a national news story, you guys, that requires a lot of resources. Stay right here. Stay. There's so much. I'm looking out the window now, and maybe you're talking about. I'm gonna just bring up something real quick. So I live in South Fulton,
Mm-hmm.
and there's been a big problem with warehouses. And I mean, just warehouses popping up, popping up, popping up. Amazon, all of it's probably Amazon, probably right. But Amazon, it does have one off of the South Fulton Parkway, and then I mean these huge, massive warehouses, and then you know what comes with that are these big trucks and all of that. And so, anyway, a lot of neighborhoods and families and stuff have been angry about that and say, why are all these warehouses coming? Why don't you build stuff like a shopping center, or why don't you build other houses or something? But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Even if you just look around in your local community, there's so much going on. Okay.
Okay, I know you said not a big topic, but could gun violence be a topic?
Can what, say it again?
Can gun violence be a topic?
Oh, yeah, gun violence, yes, of course, because we have it in our local community, right? So if you talk about gun violence, it may be gun violence. Y'all, it has been off the chain. They said in Atlanta, a lot's been going on. I mean, just shooting in broad daylight in Midtown. So that's good. So what I'm talking about, not a national story. I don't want you to tackle like gun violence all across America. That's just too much.
Okay.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay, anybody else?
Um, um, I just want to apologize about missing class. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. You sent me your message. Yes, I did receive your message about work. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
No
oh,
problem. Hey, Brandon. I think that's Brandon. Sorry.
Okay,
also,
the question.
how did you get to that rubric for the thing?
Okay, so let me see. Can y'all see my screen? Did I mess
Yes.
up? Okay, so right here. Oh, sorry. Right here, syllabus and resources. That's a good question. And then I try to put right at the top so students don't miss it. And it's right at the top, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. Good question. So anyway, let's go back to this week, okay? And next week. So we're right here. We're in module 11. And then module 12, after after the break. Oh, you know what I did? Oh, I was smart. Look at that. I was real smart. Okay, sorry, y'all. I made sure that you guys didn't have anything next week. So after the break, so look right here. I did good. Oh, geez. Y'all mute yourself, please. All right, so right here, module 12 is when we come back. And you guys can start working on the final news story pitch, okay? And the pitch will be, you can put the pitch right here. And then when we come back, make sure this is not a student. And then when we come back, you have a press conference assignment. And this is when we come back after Thanksgiving, okay? And then I think this will probably be our last, week of meeting. And then the week after that, you'll submit the final news story. Oh, got to get that off of there. You'll submit the final news story there. Okay. All right.
So we
Okay.
don't have a final exam.
Not a final exam. That is your final. So you guys got to make sure you do a good job on it. And then even when you turn in the pitch, and when you turn in the story, I may have some things for you to change. And so you may have the first draft and then you may have to change it again. So that's what we're working on for your final. That's your final news story.
And are you going to create the Dropbox for the pitch, or is that already open?
Yeah, right. Let me see. Did I get it? Yep, right here. You guys see my screen?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right there. The week of module 12, week of November 30th.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yep.
I had a question about the assignment for the workshop, the Pancake Festival event. So it says that as the instruction, it says list yourself as the contact person for the sponsor of the release and decide on the release date and write a headline.
Wait. Joseph, you talk about this class or
Oh, the other one. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was getting totally confused. Okay,
Sorry.
Save that, and then I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer your question right at the end. Don't forget now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Put a note because I'll forget. Okay, you guys okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. All right. And then Brandon, excuse me, Joseph, don't you forget that question. All right, so we're gonna go back and pull up our lesson for today. Give me 1 second. Where did I put it? See, that's what happens. I'll open it up. Okay, here we go. So today we're going to talk about interviewing, and I've got a couple of videos. And one of the key things that a lot of students don't like is when it's time to do your interview. I'm coming back to you. When it's time to do the interview, a lot of students get a little scared. But don't get scared. Okay, let me know if you can see the PowerPoint is yellow. It says chapter 10, interviews.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so we're going to talk about interviews. And one of the key things that reporters have to do, whether you're a radio reporter, TV, or whatever it is, you got to get interviews. You can't just tell the whole story based on you. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear what the people know. So you got to interview someone. All of the information that you get, you know, a lot of students say, well, I could get it from Google. And that's real nice, isn't it? But you can't get everything from Google. Sometimes you got to get the valuable information from a person. That person was there. They have the expertise. They know about it. So we're going to watch a couple of examples today because you got to see these things. Let me see if this will come up for us. Give me 1 second. I should have had this pulled up. And I think all of us probably can attest that we've probably seen some interviews gone wrong.
Yep.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. We've seen some crazy ones. Hold on, everybody. I got it, but I can't hear anything. Hold on. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me go. Okay, I'm gonna include computer sound. All right, hold on. We're having a computer issue. All right, I'm turned up. Let's try it again.
Dried up as this crisis.
All right, let's get this interview.
People avoiding travel and canceling vacations. A local company that rents high-end campers has seen its business dry up.
And now they are pivoting, using those empty vans to help others. New tonight, Channel 2's Justin Gray reports are donating use of those campers to local hospitals.
You can see the vans are just lined up right now here in the parking lot. The reservations dried up as this crisis got worse. The owners started thinking, well, what can we do with these vans to help?
If it's going to sit, I'd rather it help somebody.
The vans are meant to be out in nature or out on the open road.
We went from sold out to zero in a matter of, you guys know, days.
These high-end campers from Atlanta small business Scamper Van are now just parked. A packed spring calendar full of cancellations.
Normally, it's for everything from a weekend getaway with the family to month-long excursion across the country. And so now, obviously, they're sitting.
I talked to one of Scamper Van's owners, Dutch Van de Steeg, virtually about the decision to put their now unused vans to work, helping others.
What we want to do is we're trying to brainstorm how can we help and how can we be a part of this.
So over the past few days, Scamper Van's owners put the call out to local hospitals and first responders. They're donating use of the vans for healthcare workers who need a safe space on site to rest or sleep. They just made the offer Friday, and already Piedmont Hospital reached out wanting vans for their employees.
Our goal is to help the hospitals and their frontline folks that need it most. We want to provide a safe haven, a safe space, or a space to stay.
Scamper Van tells us they have 7 of these vans and will make them available to those hospitals and first responders as often and as much as they can. Reporting in Southwest Atlanta, Justin Gray, Channel 2 Action News.
With people avoiding travel and
Okay, so let's talk about this interview. This reporter went to, let me get back to our lesson. This reporter went and interviewed the owner of the van company. Can you guys see me back the PowerPoint, or do I need to switch it
Yes.
again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me, what was the impact of listening to the I'm sorry, y'all, the owner of the van company? So the reporter could have easily just said, this is what happened with this company. They used to be sold out. Now they don't have anybody coming because of COVID. But what did the interview of the owner do for you? Did it enhance the story?
It did.
Mm-hmm.
It
It
did.
made the story more credible.
Yes. Yes.
Very, very good. So I hear you say that's a key word. It made the story more credible. It gave the story weight. And not that we wouldn't believe it, because we understand with COVID, everything just kind of shut down, right? Things are coming back now. But just to hear his testimony and to say the reason why he wanted people to have access to it and the good that he wanted it to do, that really gave it a lot of weight. And then look, maybe we want to get one of those vans now. Then we know what type of company this is. All right, so let's go back, and we are going to talk about seeking people who have an interest in your story. So I'm going to set up this video, and I want you guys to tell me, what does that mean to you? Seek people who have an interest in your topic. What does that mean to you?
Once more, it'll add the credibility. Not only the credibility, but it'll add the meat to the story, the flesh.
Right. Because look, okay, if you just pick a random person off the street and say, I'm gonna interview, okay, I'm gonna interview this lady over here about the Falcons season. And if you put a microphone to me, I don't really care, because I don't really follow it like that. They're not my team. I don't care. So if they were to interview me, I don't have an interest in the story. I'm not going to add to the story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So right. So you guys, when you find the people to interview, you just don't want anybody. Oh, I'm gonna interview my mom. Your mom is great, but maybe mom doesn't have, maybe because mom is accessible, but maybe your mom doesn't really have the interest in that story. So let's go to this one. We're gonna talk about this is an old.
Well, right now we do have a crime alert to tell you about. This is in DeKalb County, where police there are trying to figure out who broke into 37 cars in one night.
It happened at a luxury apartment complex in Dunwoody. CBS 46's Rebecca Schramm is live there for us this morning. Rebecca, the residents are pressing for some changes in security because this isn't the only incident that's causing concern.
You're right, Gavir and Tracy. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, there was a shooting here at the Arrive Perimeter Apartments here in Dunwoody. A teenager wounded in that case. Well, now several residents have been victimized by thieves. This happened last week. Residents woke up to find 37 cars had been broken into. There was apparently a community meeting that night, but residents tell us they are still waiting for more security cameras. They tell us there are none in the parking garage where some of the break-ins happened. One victim, Bob Blake, tells us residents also want a security guard on duty at all times.
They have 2 cameras in the front. They're still looking at a security company, but they want to get the right one. They're just not going to put anybody on it. Where I'm thinking somebody right now is better than nobody.
We have reached out to managers here at the apartment complex to find out more about what they're doing in terms of security. We will let you know what they say. Live in Dunwoody, Rebecca Schramm, CBS.
Okay, so they interviewed this gentleman here. Let me see if I can get it to play. Oh man.
a security guard on duty at all times.
They have 2 cameras in the front. They're still looking at a security company, but they want to get the.
Okay, so why do you think they chose to interview Bob Blake? Remember what we talked about. What is Bob Blake's connection with this story? Not sure. If you guys see right here, look under his name. So Bob has been a victim of the break-ins. So do you think that he has a interest in this story when the reporters came?
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. He's like, look, I can tell you what happened, and I'm sick of this, and I need them to get something done, and blah, 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 blah. You know, rather than, okay, they picked Bob Blake to interview. He was a victim of the break-in. Rather than they could have picked his neighbor who lives there but was not a victim. You know, that person might have been good, but Bob has a valid interest in the story.
Right.
Okay.
People who experienced it.
There you go. There you go. He experienced it. Good. Let's go to the next one. Okay, you guys with me? You can see my PowerPoint. It says before the interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so before you do the interview, I want you to imagine, even if you choose to work at a news station or something, but even not, when you're working on your final news story, you've got to do your research. So I know that you guys remember all this controversy, what was it, like last year or so with R. Kelly? And he had this interview with Gayle King. And before Gayle did that interview, that big interview they had on, I forgot her morning show, she did her research. So you want to research your subject, find out as much as you can. Yes, you can start on Google for that. You could start with social media. Maybe people are talking about it on social media. And you got to figure out what kind of information do you want from this interview. So you don't want the same information that you're getting from Google, but maybe you're trying to go deeper. So I have an example here. If we want to find out more about a car crash, don't ask if the driver was a parent. Nobody really cares. So let's say if we're out there and we see a car crash, all right, so I want everybody to imagine, just to imagine, close your eyes and imagine that we are reporters and we're standing on, what's a busy street? Peachtree or 85. And we see a terrible car crash and we're doing a live shot. And we're trying to find out more information about this car crash. What are some questions that we could ask the witnesses? So, like, if there were people, you know how reporters do, if there were some people that saw this car crash, one of the problems also that's been going on downtown Atlanta, if you guys have been following the news, is these, I think they said like on weekends and in evenings, people are coming and like doing donuts in the street and stuff. And sometimes it's been causing accidents. So if we saw an accident occur and we're working for the news station and there were people out there that saw it, what are some questions that we could ask them? We're not going to ask them, hey, did you see that driver? Was that driver a mom or dad? Nobody cares. But what are some things that we might ask the crowd of witnesses?
Do you know what caused it?
Right. Did you see this happen? Were they going fast?
Right.
Did the driver get out to help?
Was anybody hurt?
There you go.
Were there any casualties?
There you go. Did an ambulance, how soon did the ambulance come on the scene? If there was
For me, like what actually happened here, you know.
Right. Right. Did you see the description of the car? What some people said it was a Lamborghini. Was that true? You know, and somebody said no, it was a Ford. You know, so you're trying to find out information, but you don't want stupid information, you know. Okay, so during the interview, you want to stay focused. And many times when you're doing your interview with people, checking our time, during your interview, there are going to be distractions in the background. And look at the guy on the right. And he's like, look, a distraction. So many times you may see these reporters out here and they're doing a live shot or they're doing an interview with someone and there's an ambulance going down the street, there are people talking in the background. If this is a real heated situation, you know, maybe people are yelling and shouting. I've seen some interviews where the people in the background were cussing, you know, and so they got to be careful with that. So you just want to make sure that you stay focused on your interview subject. You're not looking all around. You're not looking at the traffic. You got to look right at them and be focused with them. I got I have a video for you. Okay, so let's get to the next question here. You got to phrase your questions right. People can be very shy, and when it comes to interviews, sometimes they don't want to open up, and so we want to avoid yes or no questions. Those are closed-ended questions. So if you went to a farmer and we're interviewing the farmer, if we said, do you like farming? You're going to get a yes or no answer, right? Yeah, I love farming. Okay. But you could ask another question and say, what do you like most about farming? You know, and then you're going to get a big answer. You're going to say, oh, well, I've been farming for 10 years and my daddy showed me or whatever. And then you're going to get a big answer. You don't want yes or no answers. That's not going to help you. Okay. So let's go back, reporters. Imagine you were interviewing a teacher. And if we were to interview the teacher about, if you were to interview the teacher about going back to school with all this COVID, we don't want to say, did you want to go back to school? Did you want to go back to work with all the kids? They're probably going to say either a yes or no. Okay, but somebody rephrase that. What kind of question could we ask one of the local public school teachers about the current environment of COVID-19 and going back to work?
Going back to work or school?
Well, yeah, going back to school. You know, they work in a school. So what could we ask them that wouldn't be? Give me a question that wouldn't be a closed-ended question.
Okay. How do you think this current pandemic affects student test scores?
Amen. That's awesome.
Really?
That's awesome. Yes, because that's not a yes or no. I can't say yes or no to that. So the teacher's going to say, well, that's a deep question. And we don't know. Or we're going to have, you know, or maybe they say, I think it's not going to look good, or we're trying to work with them now and so that they're ready in the spring, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's good.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to jump in there? Let's say we're interviewing some local teachers at the local school. We don't want to say, did you want to go back to work? They're probably going to say no.
I think another question would probably be, what strategies do you believe the teachers can take to keep themselves as well as the students safe? Additional strategies, that is, aside from the traditional ones that were given out by the CDC, like wearing the mask and keeping distance.
Very good. Very good. So you're talking about strategies. They can't give you a yes or no answer on strategies. They've got to be, they've got to explain more. Good job.
I got another one.
Go ahead. I'm setting up our video.
How do you think the social distancing, how can I put this? How do you think social distancing, never mind. It's not coming out right. I don't know why, but
Right.
never mind, I guess.
Okay, when it comes back, you let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna set up. All right, so this next video is of President Obama, and he was asked what's called a leading question. And let me go back here, see if I can pull you guys.
I got one. I got it. It came back. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How do you think social distancing affects the social lifestyle of children?
Very good. That's not a yes or no answer, right? So the person has to say, well, they're a bit isolated now, or some kids are still getting out and playing sports, but they got to be really, really careful. That's a good question. Good question. All right, so President Obama was asked this leading question, and leading questions are loaded. And when I say loaded, they like ask questions, but they really trying to get at something else. And let's see how he tried to get out of this. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think I messed up here and put up the wrong one. Let me know if you can see President Obama on the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here we go. Let's see how he got out of it.
Yeah, I think it's depressing news on top of what's been a flurry of.
Oh, let me set this up. President Obama was asked a question about years ago. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, that's one that Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer, whatever. Jennifer, what's her name?
Does it start with an L?
J-Lo, yeah, J-Lo, yeah.
Yeah, it could have been Jennifer Lopez.
Right, wait a minute. Yeah, that's her fiance. And years ago, he was found guilty of doping. And the reporter asked him this question, and this is how he got out.
Yeah, I think it's depressing news on top of what's been a flurry of depressing items when it comes to Major League Baseball. And if you're a fan of Major League Baseball, I think it tarnishes an entire era to some degree. And it's unfortunate because I think there are a lot of ball players who played it straight. And you know, the thing I'm probably most concerned about is the message that it sends to our kids. What I'm pleased about is Major League Baseball seems to finally be taking this seriously, to recognize how big of a problem this is for the sport. And that our kids hopefully are watching and saying, you know what, there are no shortcuts. That when you try to take shortcuts, you may end up tarnishing your entire career, and that your integrity is not worth it. That's the message I hope is communicated.
Okay, so the reporter really wanted President Obama to say something negative about him, about A-Rod, but President Obama was able to spin it around and make it a learning moment for kids. Okay.
Hillary was doing the same thing.
You get that sometimes where they want to press you for something and you're like, no, I'm not even going to go there. And so President Obama was like, I'm not going to go there. It's good. All right, so you got to listen carefully and ask the tough questions. That I should have had tough questions. Can you guys see me back on the PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you do your interview, you got to make sure you come with a list of questions. Some students just go in there and wing it, and that's not good. You want to make sure you stay in control of the interview, because some people will just go all over the place. And I know this is kind of off the subject. When we talk about the R. Kelly interview, what was that, about a year or so ago, Gayle King was known for staying in control, even though R. Kelly just kind of went off and did his own thing. So you want to stay in control of your interview. We pray you're not going to get anybody like R. Kelly. Don't ask the same question twice, because they're trying to figure out, like, well, you already asked me that. Why are you asking me again? Don't ask the tough questions first. So you might want to ease into the interview and ask them some little light questions, and then you go for the heavy ones. So that's what Gayle King did. She kind of asked little light questions in the beginning. She may have talked about his career, and then they started talking about all of these allegations and the documentary and stuff that came out on him. Okay. When we talk about control, I have the example right here. So I'm gonna go right back to this one. Let's end on this one, and then we'll talk about a phone interview. So hold on one second. So let's go right here and let's see if we can get the R. Kelly one. And we're gonna go to this video. We're gonna scoot down because it's kind of long. But we're going to look at this video and see how Gayle King kept control of her interview with R. Kelly. And some people will avoid answering your questions. They'll try to be vague. You want to make sure that you don't give your opinion to the person. And that can be difficult because we're humans. And you might be like, this person is just trash. But you can't give, you can't give your opinion during the interview and say, you were wrong, right? Okay, so let's back up a little bit, and we're talking about staying in control of the interview. Okay, once again, you guys let me know, can you see R. Kelly and Gayle King interview on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, Professor. It sounds muted.
Oh. Okay, so you said it sounds muffled.
Oh, it's I can't hear anything.
I got it. Okay, the computer sound didn't come through. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you for telling me. Here
Yes,
we
ma'am.
go. Let's do it again.
That's stupid.
Oh, I can hear it now.
Common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle. Robert, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing. Robert. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career. Robert. 30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it right here, but Lord help. I want you to pay attention to the reporter. Lord, okay.
Reality TV.
Yeah, she's very calm.
Yeah,
she's very calm. Now, I don't think I could have been as calm. So what I mean about staying in control, even though R. Kelly chose to get up, raise his voice and stand over her and all this stuff, and they had to escort him out, whatever, whatever. But she stayed in control. She kept her voice low. She didn't raise to the level where he was at. Okay. Okay, so let's go here and we're gonna close out. If you have a phone interview, let's see if you can see my screen. Everybody see my screen in one of my favorite shows, Michael Scott from The Office. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ben
Yeah,
Stiller.
I love that.
I mean, not Ben Stiller. Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah, he played Michael on The Office. He was so crazy. But in your book, it talks about what to do if you have a phone interview. And we may have to use those a little bit more because of this COVID-19 thing. So that you see now, if you're on, if you've been watching TV news, you see now during this COVID time that we're in, they were interviewing people on their phones and on Zoom and stuff like that. So that's more of the norm now. So with a phone interview, it is good to do. Make sure that you introduce yourself first. Let the person finish answering the question before you ask another question. What I see sometimes is the person's not even done, and then the reporter jumping in with something else for them to answer. Ask if there's anything that you missed at the end, or if they want to add something. You can always do that with a phone interview. So make sure that you embrace your phone interviews and okay, well, we won't do that one. Make sure that you embrace those phone interviews because that's kind of all we have right now. That's all we have. All right. So let me pause right here. Any questions?
It was the question about the mass communications, the workshop.
The workshop. Okay.
Yes,
Stay here. Stay right there. Anybody have any questions about our lesson or anything right here? And I do owe you, and I apologize. I have your quiz on chapter 7 and 8, but I forgot to upload the attachment. So I'm gonna do that right after I finish talking with Joseph.
Are you sure? Because I took chapter 7 and 8.
Oh, you did? Okay, maybe it's on my side because let me take my screen down.
Oh yes, it said complete for me as well.
Yeah, I did mine.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I couldn't see it on my screen. It looked like I didn't have the attachment on there, but you did see it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I'm not as crazy as I thought I was. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. Any questions? If not, I'm going to jump over here to Joseph. He has a question about another course.
Actually, Professor, I got a question about this course too.
Go ahead.
So I was wondering, how can we get an internship with the school or like with our mass communication, because I only got like one semester left and I want to, try to get everything together.
Okay, internship, you said, Louise?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to email you. There was an internship opportunity, I think, at a radio station. And I'm also going to, so let me do this right now. I'm making myself a note. And I'll also copy Miss Professor Young. Okay, so that you can, let's see, you graduate in, or you finish, you'll be graduating in the spring?
Spring or summertime. I think I'm gonna take 2 classes in spring and then one more in summer, or something like that.
Okay, So just watch your email. Are you registered for your classes for the spring?
I'm about to do that after this class, actually.
Okay, because you probably will need that MathCon workshop that Joseph is talking about. I know you will.
Okay.
Okay. Do that. Do that as soon as possible. And then, Luis, if you run into any questions, just send me an email and we'll get you set up with your schedule.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.
You too. Okay, Joseph, you had a question.
Yes, ma'am.